Ever wonder how colonial empires built their vast infrastructure and economies so quickly? A dark, often overlooked part of that history is forced labor. This wasn't just about hard work, it was a brutal system of coercion that shaped the world we live in today. Let's break down what forced labor really meant under colonial rule. Colonizers didn't just ask people to work. They forced them. This meant compelling people to labor against their will, often under the threat of extreme violence, imprisonment, or having their land and property seized. While they often claimed it was for development or a civilizing mission, the reality was pure exploitation. One of the most notorious forms was plantation labor. Think of the massive sugar plantations in the Caribbean or the rubber plantations in the Congo. Millions of indigenous people and enslaved Africans were forced to work grueling hours for little to no pay, producing cash crops like sugar, cotton, and rubber that made European companies incredibly wealthy. Another method was forced agricultural quotas. Entire communities were ordered to grow specific crops for export. If they failed to meet the target, punishment was swift and severe, ranging from heavy fines to brutal beatings. The French in West Africa, for example, had a policy literally called compulsory cultivation. Then there was the infrastructure. The roads, railways, and mines that powered the colonial machine were built on the backs of forced laborers. Millions were drafted to construct projects like the infamous Kenya-Uganda Railway, often called the Lunatic Express due to the immense loss of life. Workers in mines across South Africa and the Belgian Congo faced similarly horrific conditions, with disease and exhaustion claiming countless lives. Perhaps the most insidious tactic was taxation. Colonial governments imposed new taxes, like hut taxes or head taxes, which had to be paid in cash. The catch: the only way for most people to earn this cash was to work for European employers. It was a clever way to push people into the wage labor system, even when they fiercely resisted leaving their own farms and communities. And while many empires claimed to have abolished slavery, they simply replaced it with new forms of bondage. Captive labor, debt peonage, prison labor, and child labor were all widespread. In some regions, colonial armies and companies would even conduct raids to capture people and force them to work. Understanding this history is crucial. It reveals the true cost of colonization and helps us see the deep-seated inequalities that persist to this day. The wealth of many nations was built on this foundation of coercion and exploitation. Thanks for watching, and if you found this insightful, please subscribe for more history that matters.